tonight's win?
Good game by the young Red Devils. It's really nice to see our guys find a way to get a win. I take my hat off to Coach Bobby Brown of Central Christian on coming down here and making sure we have an opportunity to get on the court before the wedding. And so that's a good young ball club, and they'll have a good year in that Pioneer League. Seen a lot of good things tonight. I mean, I thought there were at times we did some really nice things, and sometimes we didn't do some nice things. And we rebounded the ball well overall. We had more assists tonight, but we had a few critical moments there in the second quarter where we got a little selfish. We tried to attack the paint without driving. In high school basketball, you can't just dribble up the floor and just drive to the rim, like you do in, youth league basketball. You have to move the basketball. You have to swing it side to side. Gaps will open, and then you can attack the rim. So I was a little disappointed at the half on how impatient we were. Wasn't pleased with some of the long shots we took, and so I addressed that at the halftime. And I was pretty pleased with the response in the second half, particularly in the third quarter. I thought our ball movement was better. They came out with a 1-3-1, kind of got us out of rhythm a little bit, called timeout. I put us in the right alignment, a 2-1-2 alignment where we got two top, one in the middle, two corners. As you see, we had good skip pass, diagonal passes, good attack off the baseline. And, I could tell in the second quarter they were gassed. And, we take pride in our conditioning and our off-season program. And it was nice to see that take effect and take an effect on that team tonight.
Coach, I know you just spoke about the ball movement. I thought the ball movement was really, really good in the third quarter. I do agree with you talking about the selfishness, but the main thing stood out to me was the extra shots, the hustle, the tip balls that you guys were getting this evening.
Absolutely. I mean, we're starting to try to track some deflections. We got guys that are trying to take charges, and we have Marcus coming off, and he's creating a role for himself as a defensive stopper, and that's good to see. We had some mismatches in the paint. Keyshawn was open a little bit down there. We got to get AJ to play with a little bit more confidence, man. He's rebounding the basketball, but I think offensively he's not playing with the confidence that he showed this fall. But overall, it's a great win. I thought Chris didn't let the game come to him. I thought he forced it a little bit, but he seemed to settle in a little bit. Trey hit some shots early, and we got to find a way. Even when we're shooting well from the perimeter, we still have to keep the attack on the paint, and that's something we're going to work on over the next few weeks.
Coach, was that at about the 4:55 mark of period two when you called the timeout and you got on them pretty good at that point because your team had missed 2 threes and they came down and scored. What did you say to them during that timeout?
Well, basically I just talked about how selfish we were. I talked about how we were rushing and we were playing out of character. And I'm okay with guys playing free. As you all know, I let these guys play. But our shots that we were taking wasn't rhythm threes. I'm all about using the three-point line this year because, as you see, we have multiple weapons from the three-point line. When Tyleek get going, Trey get going, Chris get going, Rick get going. You see tonight, Marcus hit a couple tonight. So we have to utilize that three-point shot, when we're not as strong in the interior. But basically that timeout was about, getting back to doing what we do. Stop worrying about points you're scoring and this and that. At that point, you get a sense that we're going to win the game just from you just know we're going to figure out a way to kind of, take them down and tap them out. And but you got to do it one step at a time. You can't skip them steps to get to the end of the game. And we tried to skip them steps and start celebrating before the actual game was won.
Talk about Rick. Go ahead.
Coach, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ricky, your son, who's really starting to create himself in the varsity level. I think he's starting to catch up with the speed of the game. You're seeing his game slow down a little bit. I know I've had some conversation with you in talking with Rick about slowing himself down, but I think that's really, really helping, spark the offense now.
Well, I mean, first of all, as a dad, I'm proud of him to see him out here competing and, playing with heart and playing with boys as a freshman. Just turning 15 a month ago. He's really starting to come into his own. But I think early on in the season, all due respect to the seniors, he was trying to figure his way, fit in. And after you go to a few games when you have some guys that don't particularly show up or don't particularly produce, then it's time. He's smart enough and he has the ability to have an impact on the game and on our team. And I think he's starting to find out his spots where he can get his looks from. We had a little session with Avis Stewart on just kind of refining, retooling his shot, and I give a big shout out to Avis Stewart and Hoop Busters and everything. But Avis spent a little time with him. It was time for me to get away from him, and we're trying to refine his shot a little bit and get it quicker, and his release is a lot smoother. And defensively on ball, he's doing okay. He's doing actually pretty good. Still got to work with him off the ball, but proud of the young man. He's trying and he cares about winning. He is a winner, and it'll be nice to see him continue to develop as the year goes.
Rick, you and I talked about depth and building depth. You mentioned Marcus, and I thought he played well, and also Keyshawn played well for you too. Tonight was it a night that you needed to develop a little bit of depth again? You got to find some guys come off the bench. Was this a night that you would call a success for that?
Yeah, I do. I do. As you see, we gave Jacoby Simpson a little opportunity to get out there and get his feet wet, and it's just about him getting comfortable. Keyshawn started. He didn't start. Now Keyshawn is playing. He's got a taste of starting, getting playing time. Now Keyshawn doesn't want to give it up, and so it's nice to see Keyshawn playing with confidence. Marcus is creating a role, and we're going to have to play 8 guys the style we play. If we want to press, if we want to really be a true transition team, and we want to get out and create havoc and apply relentless pressure, we're going to have 8, maybe 9 guys that can go out there and go hard. And when they need a blow, we should be able to fill that spot and not lose much. But it's going to take some time. It's a process. We have a lot to work on. I mean, it's a good win tonight, but there's so much to work on. But it's just nice to get a win and see some smiles on those kids' faces in the locker room.